customers. The world needs the skills of a front-end developer. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about what you need to know to be a more general but still awesome front-end developer. To be a front-end developer, you'll need to learn many different technologies. But the main technologies are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML, or Hypertext Markup Language, is the foundation of every web page. Without it, everything on the internet would be a shapeless wall of text. With HTML, you provide the web browser with information about how your content is structured by defining its different parts. For example, you surround the content of your web pages within different HTML tags to tell the browser which parts are headings, sidebars, a footer, or main area of the site. One of the goals of HTML is to provide good semantic markup. That is, provide information about what kind of content the HTML tag contains. You use HTML to define which elements are links, list items, buttons, paragraphs, checkboxes, radio boxes, and so on. This not only helps you style a page with CSS, but search engines use this information to understand your pages, and semantic markup helps accessibility tools like screen readers make more sense of your content. CSS, or Cascading Style Sheets, is a design language with a lot of power. CSS helps us describe the presentation of web pages. We use CSS to define how HTML should look and be laid out. For example, we can use CSS to tell the browser that we want our web page to display in a certain number of rows or columns, or how much space should be between each element. We'd also use CSS to change the color or font size of a button, make it wider or taller, bigger or smaller, place it on the left, right, or middle of the web page, and so on. Part of writing good CSS means making sure designs are consistent across different devices. We use CSS to make web pages responsive. That means that they look good and function well on any screen size or device. CSS seems deceptively easy at first, but it can quickly become challenging. The nuances of formatting and styling are tough, and you've got thousands of options at your disposal. You may need to consult a ton of different references and resources to get things right. It requires a lot of practice. JavaScript is the first programming language that you're likely to learn as a front-end developer. It's a continuously evolving language that's used nearly everywhere these days, on the front end, back end, on mobile, and even desktop devices. Like everything else, it can be challenging but fun to learn. Generally, front-end developers write JavaScript for the browser using the DOM, or Document Object Model. The Document Object Model is like a representation of your web page or application that allows JavaScript and the browser to communicate. Each HTML element on your web page is represented by the DOM, and you can use JavaScript to manipulate those DOM elements. For example, say you have some text on your web page that reads, "Click me." You'd use HTML tags to define that text as a button. With CSS, you'd control what that button looks like. Finally, with JavaScript, you'd write code that triggers the page or application to do something every time the button is clicked, like play a video or submit a comment to a social media post. If you're serious about being a front-end developer, JavaScript is a language you'll want to master. These are some of the main tools and technologies that you'll use on a daily basis as a front-end developer. The text editor is where you'll spend most of your time. It's where you write the code for a given site or app. Microsoft's Visual Studio Code, Atom, or Sublime Text are popular choices in 2018. Don't worry too much about which one you should use. You can try them all and figure out which one you like best. Developer tools for Google Chrome and Firefox let you look at any website and see how it's structured. DevTools help you evaluate and debug your applications, step through JavaScript code, and manipulate and experiment with your application's CSS.